I am transgressing to the next session where I am also is the first speaker. So I will try to be brief. I welcome all of you in the audience and also in the dais for this coastal zone processes, resources, social relevance, etc. seminar organized by this university, especially the Marine Geology Department, to honor Professor Sherlathan, who has been kind of a moving spirit, I would say, in coastal research in this university as well as in the state. Well, Professor Sherlathan is a very good friend of mine. The friendship started with the temperament, and also it was enforced by the common interest we had, that is the coastal zone. Well, Dr. Ramachandran made a mention that 650 appeared as a number. When that, once upon a time, way back in 1981, when Professor C. Karnakaran brought out some kind of a mimeograph book on the environment of Kerala or whatever, as the head of the MSD in CES, I was asked to write a piece, a paragraph or a two to be included. State of the Environment Report, first one submitted to Government of Kerala. And there I made a mention of 650 kilometers, 560 kilometers rather, because I had a very rare opportunity to see the coast from Kanyakumari to Mangalore, and with the wooden thing that Ramendra mentioned, which the originator called stadia and horizon method, with 3 pieces of wood or 4 pieces. I made a 4-piece contraption and I called it quote unquote emery rod. So it's a very precise thing, and I cannot but recall my friend's friend, Professor Ramasarma, he and I dared to walk into the sea, up to the breaking point of the waves. And of course we had some kind of a thumb rule that the eighth whoever will be the breaker will be the tallest, etc., etc. We never got killed ourselves or drowned in the water, and even the people who watch Sarma and me on shorts and t-shirts, not t-shirt, armless t-shirts, venturing into water. So work in the water is wonderful. Then another instance, as far as CES is concerned, I stayed with CES for a 2-year period during 80-82. We went with a boat. It's called the SS Rocket. It's owned by Terls, T-E-R-L-S. It is no longer there. Those days ISRO used to be called like that. The Trivandrum lab now is known as VSSC. Prior to that, it is called Terls, Tumba Equatorial Rocket Launching Station. That is the acronym. So this beauty of the boat is very simple. No navigation equipment, but of course we had 2 surveyors from the Harbour Engineering Department to do the sextant work. So we could go up to 14-15 kilometers in the ocean. We did some 6 or 7 transects, came out with one publication, and in which we called a green mineral as glauconite, and which is no longer glauconite according to Junior Purna Chandra Rao of NIO, because I was following only. Terry Machado and me co-authored the paper, and we used no X-rays, we used only the morphology. And then of course the CES also gave me a great opportunity to do the bathymetry survey of a Verbenad lake. That was the first survey ever carried out. Maybe some Sai would have carried out, but no Indian. And of course I don't claim that in the surveying process I did not come, the team did not come north of the barrage, only the southern region. That also was a very interesting thing. Verbenad Lake is very bad, and in the sense in the afternoon it's very choppy and it is a wobbling thing. But of course we had our CES had our own boat and the driver was also very efficient man. We had no mishap whatsoever. And then we did some studies from CES in Vilnius Harbour on sediment transport. Well, everybody knows, all the fisher folk knows the sediment is coming from south to north and naturally getting into the so-called boat basin or ship basin. And it is accreting and losing the water surface was steeply diminishing. The chief engineer or superintending engineer in charge came for a discussion with it. In other words, Professor C. Karnagaran was looking for holes where the CES can contribute something. And Professor Karnagaran invited the man who was in charge, and he immediately across the board offered 1 lakh rupees for a research project. And I was required to do the research project making process. So fluorescent ice, that was one thing. Then negatively boiled bottles to trace the surface current, and all ended up very successfully. So what I am saying is CES made a huge contribution in coastal zone management. When I walked into CES in the month of June 16, 1980, I was shown my office, which was vacated by V.R.R. Babu. There was a mention about Babu here. It's a very interesting person. He started with as a petrologist, mineralogist of pegmatites. And then finally he ended up in the coastal zone because there is a lot of excitement and exciting work to be done. Now, the limitations. There was a mention by Dr. Ramachandran about the limitation of the quality of work. The quality of work is primarily due to 2 or 3 reasons. One, we don't have a good map. We are all working with 1:63,360 or 1:50,000 maps. That is where the 560 kilometer length was measured out of. Now, even today, even after the coastal zone management program with the assistance of, it is not coastal zone management, integrated coastal zone management program implemented in the states of Gujarat, in the state of Orissa, and also in West Bengal, we still are not with a good map. We are actually, Jairam Ramesh, then he was in the Ministry of Environment, he made an announcement like some 300 or 400 crores for making better coastal zone maps. Coastal zone map means land area as well as water included. Our bathymetric charts run into the scales of 1:1 million or 1:1.5 million. And if you have a landing in Anjango, that will be of a better scale. What USGS is doing is now they are mapping the land, rather the sea, and the same scale as the land is. They are using, I think, something like a LIDAR, LIDAR technology, and the federal government has supported. Even the problem for us is we have bad maps, so naturally one of the reasons for unreliability of what we produce is the base map we start with. So with these few words, I wish Professor Srinivasan, in whose honor this function is organized, and I believe that Professor Srinivasan will continue to work in the field of marine geology. He has a book in the offing, and I wish you continue your research activities either here or wherever you choose to, but we want you to be active because you have to create another set of 10 PhDs before you finally go to say goodbye to science. I thank you all and I thank the organizations for inviting me to be here to say a few words about my friend Srinivasan and what I see as the flaw in our unreliable data, especially in the coastal zone. And this applies to the land zone also, but we are not addressing it today here anyway. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your kind thoughts. We invite Dr. K.R. Baiju, Secretary, Organizing Committee, to give vote of thanks.
Respected Professor Godfrey Lewis, Pro-Vice Chancellor of our university, Professor P. Saralagan, Director, School of Marine Science, Dr. M. Devishankar, Head, Department of Geology, Dr. K. K. Ramachandran, Member Secretary, KCST, Professor K. P. Thrivikramji, Emeritus Professor, Kerala University, Senior Professors, my colleagues, research scholars and students. It's a moment of gratitude in organizing a seminar like this to honor our beloved teacher, Professor Saralagan, and it is in the topic which he has worked a lot. And